podcast, PODMAS edition. I am your host, Maxine, and we're on episode 12. Episode 12, 12 out of 12, PODMAS 2022. Here we are. Let's get into it. So, Germany has returned African artifacts. It only took about 1,000 years. Well, hey, it's a step forward, right? So Germany has returned 22 Benin bronzes to Nigeria as part of a larger effort by Western nations to seek reparations of stolen artifacts from Africa. And this kind of reminds me of the scene from Black Panther, the first Black Panther, the one that really matters. Um, and how I forgot all their names now, but basically Michael B. Jordan's character, how he came into the museum and he was like, "Yeah, I want that one." They're like, "It's not for sale. It's a museum." He's like, "Oh, actually, this is mine. This is my ancestry's history. This is my ancestry's. So yeah, like I said, I want that one." And he ended up killing someone in the meantime and stealing whatever he stole. Yeah, so look, this is a step moving forward. Now, who knows if there are some ill intentions behind this, but I think this is great. I think other countries, nations overall should come forward and take this same step and return African artifacts, no, art artifacts, my bad, and return African artifacts. So that's good. Some good news. History is coming. It's like history still sucks. But it's good to know this. Okay. I was on Instagram the other day, and you know how you go through different stories and you come across an ad, because Instagram unfortunately does do ads now. It wasn't a thing before, but now it is. And one of the ads that I came across was of you see two people, they're in front of the cashier about to pay for their coffee. And the barista, he says, "Oh, that'll be $14.99," which is insane. Like, what do you mean $14.99? So that's already insane. And when the customers hear that it is $14.99, they both look at each other. One of the customers is a black woman who's a little bit bigger, so she's a thicker sized woman, and she looks at him with a confused face, but then she thought she just had a mini moment of solution, and she's like, I know what we could do, or I know what I could do to have us afford, because obviously when they heard the cost for the 14.99, she was like, "Wait, what? We ain't got that money." And so she came up with an idea right in the moment. She's like, "Oh, I know just what to do." So she goes to she goes up against a wall and just starts dancing. She just starts dancing out of nowhere. And obviously she's recording herself, but she has her phone propped up so that she's not holding her phone as she dances, but she just like instantly gets into this 1-2 step for like a good 30 seconds. And then you see a caption come on the screen of the ad saying, "Oh, $40 just got deposited to her Visa account," and then now she used that money to help pay for the $14.99 coffee. Y'all, this is the new world order. This is the new world order. We are living in a time when who cares about skills, right? I mean, yes, dancing is a skill, but who cares about knowing math, right? Who cares about knowing how to write? Who cares about scientific equations and solving chemistry solutions or whatever the fuck it is? Who cares about all of that when you could just dance? Just dance. Just go up against a wall and dance and have somebody from Russia deposit $40 to your account. Just dance. And I'm just watching this ad. I'm like, dang, something just kind of ticked off in my head. Like, wow, this is really the new world order. And I'm saying this as a surprise, like this isn't already happening. In so many different ways, this is happening. All the TikTok videos that you see people doing and doing consistently, that's because they're getting paid for it. You know, depending upon the followers that they have and the viewers that they collect for each video that they submit, each short form video that they submit, they get money. People are getting paid online for just dancing. And it's not even on some, Alvin Ailey, like really impressive type of dance moves. It's just something clap to the left, clap to the right, swing your hips and dip. Clap to the left, clap to the right, swing your hips and dip. I just made that up, right? They're literally just doing that, and they're doing it with a smile. They're doing it with their grandma. They're doing the dance with their niece, and it's a hit. And this is happening all the time. There's a new dance move every fucking day. Every day. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, at this point, schools are going to be a thing of the past. Like, I might as well not pursue more educational roles. Like, things that were once valuable are no longer. And we as Americans are, in case you're not an American listening to this episode or listening to this podcast, thank you so much. I appreciate your listen. But for the most part, we as Americans are suffering. You have China really building the next generation of engineers, of chemists, of architects, of all of these great skills that will help build our survival tactics, our survival instincts, just the ways of the world. Like they're really focused on what really matters. As for us, we're just clap to the left, clap to the right, swing your hips and dip. Clap to the left. Like we're really just doing that. And that's enough. I mean, who needs a degree? You don't need to know how to speak. You don't need to know any skills that used to be a skill of value. That used to be what you would get paid for because, wow, you're so intellectual. You have so much knowledge. You bring so much value. No, do you know how to hold your phone in a way that brings out the light in the background? Yeah? Okay, you're hired. And I don't know, maybe I'm coming across like a bitter Betty, right? Maybe I'm coming across old school with this mindset and this rhetoric, but I just find it alarming. And so many of us are living with wool over our eyes, and we're completely unaware or purposefully ignorant to how things are going in our society. I have people in my life who willingly paid, and not just paid for the $7.99 feature, but the yearly plan of that viral. You know how a lot of you guys are doing the whole animation of your pictures online, right? I have people in my proximity doing that, and just hey, like so lighthearted. I'm like, do you know what you're doing? Do what you're doing. Their defense is, well, we already have pictures online anyway, right? We're already on Instagram. Think about celebrities. They already have their pictures and info, as far as pictures online and videos online. And to that, I think that is really what they feel is a plausible defense here. Yet, you can't give, here's the difference with that. Like, you can't give someone your consent without signing off. And for all of these apps, right? So for that app, I think it's called Lensa, that animates your actual photos into this cartoon character. For that app, for any app, you have to sign off on an agreement. You have to say yes to their terms and conditions and agreements. And in that fine print, you see that they have full ownership of your photos. And I was trying to explain someone in my proximity that you signed off to them doing whatever they please with your photo, with your identity. They could suddenly, I don't know, like I was just saying all that stuff. I was just saying, like, they have all ownership of your identity, of your physical identity, of your looks. And I didn't get to the part of like how they could like potentially frame you for something, because the ways of the world now, you have AI really just dominating our ways of perception. People are now confusing what's real with what is a robot. And I didn't get to that part of the conversation with this person because she doesn't think that deep. Like, it's like very surface level. So sometimes with people who are surface level, you just have to meet them where they are. Like, okay, girl, all right. Right? Like, I can't, I'm just gonna laugh and be like, all right. What I did say was, like, you're giving them permission to do whatever they want to do with your photo, though. And so that doesn't alarm you. Like, whoever has your photo now in China could literally do whatever they want. They could put you on. And I mentioned the whole dark web thing, how they could use your photo in the dark web. And next thing you know, you're fucking in CP. And if you know what CP is, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. People don't think that deep. Some people don't think that deep. And I appreciate the few people in my life. It's really just Freckles Bay and I. Like, the only person who thinks like that. Like, I don't know. It's just so weird how people don't like ask questions or wonder or like go down this hole of, what happens with, or why is this such a trend? People don't think that deep. It's very alarming. And I just think, like, we're fucked. We are fucked. Americans are fucked. America is fucked. We're so focused on the wrong things. We're dancing for 30 seconds, if not that, 10 seconds, and then we get paid for it. And of course, money has been has been put such on a pedestal here in America that we will do anything for it. That, hey, I just gotta clap to the left, clap to the right, swing my hips and dip to get $200? Shit, just $40? Let me go ahead and do that. Right? Like, that is the mindset. Not a lot of people have integrity. Not a lot of people are quick to be like, yeah, nah, I'm not going to do that. Right? Some people are not going to be quick to say no. People are more quick to say yes. Okay, I'll do it. It looks fun, right? People are so quick to get deceived because of the aesthetic of it all. Because it looks fun. Because it looks like a good time. Everyone else is doing it. Why are you being such a poo face? It's like, okay. I guess, girl. Like, I don't know. So, God bless. God bless. Let's talk about JFK and the assassination of all assassinations that took place many years ago in the 60s and left all of us just kind of shaken. Well, I wasn't born yet, but like, people who were alive at that time, they were all shaken because democracy as we know it was no longer intact, right? When JFK was assassinated, he was out in public. He was on the streets in a tour in his car. The car was an open car, meaning it didn't, like, there weren't any like protection or like protective barriers around the car, and he was definitely vulnerable to any possible attacks. But I think at that time, people weren't thinking with that sense of fear or security in mind. People were just very still wholesome in their thinking. I would watch these like murder docs and just different like murder mysteries, and how many people back in the day would allow their 6-year-old to just walk around in their neighborhood by themselves. Like, oh, go ahead and go to the store, and you're 6 years old. And they didn't think at the time that there could possibly be a predator on the hunt, ready to pounce on the next available kid that they see. And, you know, it speaks to the innocence and the naivete of the people back then. And it speaks to the evil that was lurking and ready to take advantage of what was in front of them. So I'm not surprised that, you you have a whole president out on the streets with no protective gear, with no fucking bulletproof vest, with barely, I mean, the people who were around him didn't seem like they were security guards. Like, it just was like, nigga, go ahead, shoot me. Shoot me. So let's get into this story, because, you know, for the conspiracy theories out there, the assassination of JFK, we question whether or not the person who was accused of his assassination was actually the person who did the crime. And that person is Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald was the one who was accused of assassinating JFK during this tour that he was taking on the streets in Dallas. And since this article has been released, according to Tucker Carlson, hey, Fox News, mega! I'm kidding, it's a joke. It's a joke. No, but seriously, according to this article that I did come across on Fox News, it is said that the CIA has finally admitted to their involvement of JFK's assassination. But let's get to the very beginning, in case you're not familiar with this. So, what's his name? Lee Harvey Oswald was seen as the killer, and he was since killed by another lone gunman less than 48 hours later. And this person who killed Lee Harvey Oswald, his name is Jack Ruby. Now, just bear with me with these names, because there's a couple of different names, and a lot of these names are like first names, you know, like Jack Ruby, Lee Harvey Oswald's definitely a last name, but like these like names are like first name-ish. Anyway, so let's get to the part where, what's his name? Ruby. So Ruby kills Oswald, who was the one accused of killing JFK. Ruby was put in, prison, and while he was in prison, he was seen by a psychiatrist named Louis Jolin West, who has declared that Ruby is technically insane, okay, quote unquote. But the people around Ruby who knew him closely, who knew him intimately, said he was perfectly sane. Like, this person, like, what are you talking about? This is my brother. This is my friend. This is my lover. This is all this. I know who he is. He is a sane person. He's never had a mental episode like this. Why are you saying he's technically insane? Come to find out, let the ball drop right now. Let your balls hang. West, okay, remember, West is the psychiatrist who visited Jack Ruby, who killed, allegedly, Oswald, who was accused of assassinating JFK. Just follow me. West worked for the CIA. I'm about to drop the mic right now. I just dropped it. It's like, I held it. But let the mic drop. West worked for the CIA. Okay, so therefore, he's already working with the bias, right? And he worked for the CIA, and he was a prominent player in the MK Ultra program. Drop the mic. He was a prominent player. For those who may not be familiar with MK Ultra is a program in which the CIA gave powerful psychiatric drugs to Americans without their knowledge. So think of, there's another case of someone, there's so many cases of people who were used by the CIA for MK Ultra. Who's like, that killer, remember that Manson guy? Manson. I'm gonna type in Manson MK Ultra. So Manson, Charles Manson, yes, Charles Manson, who I think he's long gone now, but he was a victim of MK Ultra. Okay, he was given psychiatric drugs for the purpose of seeing, like, he was used as an experiment. You know, CIA used him as an experiment to see, what happens if you take LSD in this dosage, and we see what that happened, right? We see what happened with that. So Charles Manson is a serial killer and a cult leader, and he just did a lot of weird, crazy stuff. And he created a cult of people, men and women, of killers. They will go into people's homes. This took place in the 70s. They will go into people's homes and strip them down into their bare bones, rape them, and slaughter them. And this happened along the years for some time. And allegedly, this took place while Manson was under the MK Ultra spell. And so when I think about how this reporter or this psychiatrist who worked for the CIA, who is known for being a prominent player of the MK Ultra program, I think about, like, well, was MK Ultra a part of this setup for Jake Ruby? Is it Jake? Yeah, Jake Ruby to have killed, allegedly, Lee Harvey Oswald. And what really happened. So anyway, moving on into the article, the term conspiracy, so they talk about the term conspiracy theory and how this wasn't a phrase until after this assassination took place. So until 1964, the term conspiracy theory has been said many, many, many times, but it didn't take them up until this point for that to happen. So let me just read more. Ruby had seemed perfectly sane, yada yada yada. Lois Jolin West pronounced him crazy, and that's a very intentional vocabulary word to use here, right? Oh, he's crazy. Oh, she's crazy. Don't believe him. Remember that joke from Chappelle, how he said the worst thing, was it Chris Rock? But the worst thing you call someone is crazy, because when someone calls you crazy, instantly their credibility is weakened. They have none. They have no credibility because, oh, this bitch is crazy, right? This nigga's crazy. And you don't want to go on a limb in believing a crazy person, quote unquote, even though they're not crazy. But the society that they're living in, the propaganda of what crazy looks like, is pushed upon us so badly that we think someone telling the truth is crazy, right? Like, people who may be listening to me for the first time may feel like, yo, this bitch is crazy. She's wild. That bitch is wild, right? Like, some people may feel that way. And that's only because we've been conditioned to believe that if we question the status quo, if we question the media, and if we question the vaccine, can we go back to the vaccine? If we question the vaccine, we're crazy. You're an anti-vaxxer. When it's like, bitch, I've taken other vaccines. And now I come to think about it, I probably shouldn't have. I sometimes I think about, like, damn, the vaccines that we've taken since, like, I remember being younger and I couldn't continue with this grade until my medical records were uploaded to the system at the school so that they know I have all my shots and that I'm not a threat. And, I got all my shots. Like, I was a kid and I was under the guardianship of my parents, of course. So they're thinking, like, this is the thing to do, to shoot up my kid with whatever drug or whatever vaccine they said my kid needs to have every year. I can't remember the name, but there was a specific one for girls. Like, You got to get this shot if you're 12, and you got to get this shot once you're, in 2 years. Like, vaccines is nothing new, right? And so when people say, "Oh, you're an anti-vaxxer," and it's like, what are you talking? I had to go to school, right? Like, I didn't live in a fucking like Appalachian mountain where probably that wasn't like forced upon me or forced upon them. But I had to go to school. Yes, I took shots, and I was going along with the get along because I had no other choice at the time, and I was under the leadership of my parents, who was a part of that going along, getting along. So yeah, we took shots. But now when you get older and you are your own adult, right? You're in charge of your person. You don't have the the quickness to just acquiesce. You could certainly say, "Hey, you know what? Not for me. Not for me. If you want to do it, that's on you. That's fine for you, but not for me." And yet, again, the word crazy is used whenever you're not following what other people is doing, what other people are doing. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, so it was declared that he was crazy, even though his friends, his intimate friends, everyone who knew him personally said that he's not. And, I just think about, like, what does this mean about the society that we live in? So many years later, you have someone who worked closely within the U.S. government says, in fact, yes, the CIA was involved in the assassination of the president. And that's that, like, that was that. Like, yeah, we're involved, or we were involved. Okay, so there was no, like, not even explanation as to why, right? Just like, yeah, we did do it. The suspicions that you had, they're accurate. You're right. You got us. Finally, we said something, 50 something years later. They're not going to admit or explain the reasons why, but conspiracy theorists, such as myself, believe that the reason behind this CIA assassination of JFK is due to JFK not following the script. They wanted to use JFK as a pawn, and JFK was one of the few good men in a leadership role as such, of being a president, who wanted to really make change. He really wanted to support those who were disenfranchised by the government, by just the ways of the world. And he really was a good-hearted person. And seeing how he was calling out, there's a video of him calling out secret societies, Illuminati, and really just being bold and saying there are some ways of this world that the American people are not familiar of, yet I am, and I'm here to expose them. And I'm just, I'm paraphrasing it, but it's basically in those words he exposes the elite society, the secret society that is happening, that is taking control, that is of control in this world, right? It really is checked off by the elites of what happens in this world. And because of his boldness, because of him just being straightforward with it and really just standing in his truth, or I hate that saying, standing my truth. No, but him standing forward in his convictions. That's what I want to say instead. Standing forward in his convictions despite the pressure to just acquiesce. He was a threat. And this is what happened. So rest in peace, JFK. Damn. He was a Hollywood actor before he became president. I think he was really selected to become the president of the U.S. of A. And this is what happened, y'all. This is what happened. So rest in peace to him. We lost a good one. And the CIA did it. The CIA did it, y'all. You guys, I want to thank you so much for listening to all the PODMAS episodes. I really appreciate every listen and the engagement. I received so much engagement on YouTube as well. I love the commentaries that I've received and just people's opinions, Going back to the TJ Holmes episode, how I talked about the affair, there was someone who said, God, can we stop talking about this already? And you know what? I was like, thank you. Thank you for the engagement. And that's really what I appreciate. Engage, obviously respectfully. And I didn't find that disrespectful. Like, he was just sharing his passion, I guess. But nonetheless, I received some great commentaries. I received some recent subscribers. But, I really appreciate everyone who just supports however they can. And that looks like a number of different ways, whether that's oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart. Whether that's, saying hello, subscribing on YouTube, sharing with a friend, and just being amazing. Thank you so much. You guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I'm going to let you know we are not airing a new episode next week. So there will not be an episode on Tuesday, nor will there be an episode on Friday. Okay? If I change my mind, I change my mind. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, you know what? I kind of want to just go back on the mic. But if I change my mind, I change my mind. But as of now, no new episodes next week. So I want to wish you all a happy new year and just a great end to your 2022. And, may you all be safe, merry, and bright. Thank you so much. Goodbye.